No.
All right, we're going to be opening the Monday, January 27th, Stakeholders Committee meeting.
Is there a folder? I didn't get the folder. Sorry.
Over there. Yeah.
Sorry about that.
So, I guess we can go around the room for attendance.
Oh, is that my folder over there?
Okay, Adam Furlong.
Yep, Les Stevens,
Thank you.
just for the minute taker.
Carol,
Yes.
doing a,
Roll call.
Oh, Carol Gogolinsky here.
Colin Hare. Here.
Mike Zwicker. Aye.
Cool. All right, Matthew Benoit. All right, so the first item we're going to go over is just reviewing the stormwater bylaw.
Yep, the edits from town council. There are both Nick, our consultant from CEI, and town council are all over us for putting a date. But this committee's consensus was to put the date on the map so that you do have to go back to town meeting.
Yep.
Council and Nick were both like, why would you want to go back to town meeting? You guys have your reason, it stays on.
Yeah, I think it's just from the community aspect. I think, we can gauge what the community is. I think if it was something, a different bylaw, or if it had a past of some hiccups, you know what I mean? Then we probably, there'd be a little more public trust and a little more public understanding and stuff like that. I think without that, then, let's live with the date. Maybe in 10 years, you can drop the date and just reference the
I
map.
think the severity and the circumstances
History.
that could happen
Yeah,
are very severe in this compared to most other entities that go on. This could have a major impact if somebody just decided to change it on a whim.
so if
It's
it's,
this way here, everybody's informed about it.
in 50 years, they want to drop the date, they can. Most of us won't be around.
Yeah,
Well, I won't be.
Carol might be.
and you're gonna mention about it being in here?
Well, I think if it's dated, if it stays dated, then it stays part of the bylaw. Do you
Yep.
think that the language needs to
Okay.
say, does the language need to say that this map is made part of the bylaw?
Does that mean it will be dated whenever it's changed?
Yeah, we just add the date, we get rid of the language up ahead that says Town of Douglas regulates stormwater as shown in the most recent version, and it just says, within the Town of Douglas regulates stormwater area tile map dated December 2024, and get rid of the as may be amended,
Okay.
as council tried to throw in there.
Okay.
We just leave it right at that.
Would that entity though mean anytime if, that's a big if that map ever had to be changed, would the new one also be dated? Should it be
Yeah.
in here mandatory that
Oh,
it's
100%.
dated?
Absolutely.
So would it hurt to say the map is made part of the bylaw after the date? This map is made part of the bylaw?
I think the reference,
It being in the
Date
bylaw.
would be covered.
Yeah,
Okay.
I think so.
All right,
Yeah.
fair enough.
Can I stop right there for a second? Going through my notes, and I spent today, this afternoon going through, one of the things I know that I had written down, and I don't see it in here, and I don't know, and I just wrote this little thing, the purpose of this bylaw is to meet the minimum requirements, but I thought one of the things we wanted was, and I wrote this down, which shall not exceed the minimum requirements,
Right.
or
Right.
something like that.
That's right, that's right.
What-
I thought, I had that on the notes, and I
Right.
didn't see it in here, and I didn't know if that got changed, and maybe it was at the meeting I missed, so I thought that was kind of the purpose of it. I mean, we know we have to meet the minimum, because
Yeah.
obviously that's why we're here,
Right.
but should it, which shall, and I wrote down, which shall not exceed bare minimum,
Yeah.
and then the other thing I had a question on was, as may be amended, is that something that has to be in there, because,
They're going to get rid of
No,
that.
he's-
yeah.
Okay.
So the language should probably be, what
I
would,
would say this, the purposes of this bylaw is to meet, comma, and not exceed, comma, the minimum requirements.
Yeah.
How's that
Yeah,
sound?
something like that, exactly.
Yeah.
Because I was just going through, and that's what I noticed I didn't have in here.
right, because you can still meet it.
Right.
Correct, the goal was to meet it, of course. That's
We
what
have
the
to meet it,
purpose
right.
is. Thing, but we don't want to
Yep.
exceed it.
Yeah.
That was discussion.
Okay.
Yeah, I think that was, I think we covered it a few times, but we were focused on some other language.
Yeah, no,
So,
we get it.
it's all good stuff. Good call out.
I read this again today, and one of the things that kind of stands out to me, though, is number 4, administration, section B, what it says, the storm, they will periodically amend the rules, regulations, terms, conditions, definitions, enforcements, procedures and administration of the stormwater bylaw by a majority of the vote of the Stormwater Authority. So basically, that gives them a lot of power.
So the stormwater regulations is under the planning board.
Yeah.
Right,
So it's going to be another doc,
Right.
not part of the bylaw, that they'll have the ability to hold a meeting and update the regs as needed. They have to finish off the regs.
Right.
right. But it looks to me like they can come in and just amend this whole thing.
They can, no, they can amend the regs.
The regs of the stormwater.
The
bylaw.
The
regs,
terms,
This is the
conditions,
bylaw,
Yeah.
not the actual
Rules.
bylaw, but the regulation.
yeah.
rules, regulations, terms and conditions, definitions, enforcement, procedures and administration. Okay,
That's how conservation is. Any board that has regs can update them in one or two public meetings.
Right. Planning board's doing that with their subdivision regulations.
Right now.
Next week, or next meeting, sorry.
Okay, yeah.
So, yeah, they have their own individual policies and regulations that govern certain permitting processes. This bylaw would then oversee the regulations. This will obviously
Okay.
supersede any of those regs that they
Yeah.
okay.
So it would just be generally administrative,
Yes.
procedural,
Yeah.
procedural.
Number of copies,
Right, right,
stuff like that.
Yeah.
The other item in the definitions,
It's a good
on
call.
page 3, this was from Nick. He said Article 11 already addresses illicit discharges. He'd keep anything related to illicit discharge in Article 11 and strike it from this bylaw entirely.
Because it's already defined there?
Right. So you're saying pull the illicit connection and the illicit discharge definition.
So it doesn't confuse it with,
Okay,
confuse it with-
okay.
Right,
So instead of it repeating itself?
yes.
Yeah,
Yeah.
And then he added pollutant back in here.
okay.
He wanted it in there. So we really were kind of torn up about it. We weren't sure what to do, but he says it should be in here, so if it's
It's just
if
a
it's written
definition.
throughout the bylaw, then it should be defined.
Yeah, it's just a definition.
Yeah.
Page 6 of 9 also has may be revised under applicability. I don't know if that has to come up too.
Yeah, it does. Yeah, I was just looking at that. Yeah. We'll get rid of the most recent version of, right there on page 6,
Yep.
and the ads may be revised. So it'll read, Douglas Stormwater Douglas Regulated Stormwater Area. It should say the tile map.
That was brought up, though. Remember you asked Nick that night?
Yeah.
He goes, you don't need to call it a tile map. It's a
All right.
map.
All right.
But this, he said that specifically, if you remember the conversation, because we're
Okay.
going back and forth, and then he goes, why you keep calling it tile map?
All right.
It's a
Yeah.
map.
That was our name for it.
Then I-
That was our,
You have a map, if you want to see an area, you look at the page.
right,
All right, then I got to pull tile from page 1, so.
okay.
All
And
right.
I think, yeah, we just had tile map when we were floating it around.
Right.
From the Town of Douglas Regulated Stormwater Area map. Oh, sorry. Area as shown on the December 2024 map. That's how that one should read. Okay.
So page 7, down at the bottom,
Yeah.
and that's the illicit discharge.
Yeah.
Is he taking that out?
Yeah, that's also highlighted for the same reason.
All right.
Carries on to the next page, it says the same thing.
Okay, so so I'm getting confused just because we've got blue sections being
Omitted.
omitted.
Yes,
Even
And-
all the procedures?
yeah, so that's the last thing we get to talk about.
just want to go through.
And you see the kind of the back and forth between Nick and council on the right-hand side.
Yep.
He says he wouldn't include this in case it conflicts with regulations. Council says, I get it, but I think the minimum requirements should be included in here, particularly the hearing requirements. That said, he trimmed some of the requirements that could be moved to regulations.
So,
So he's, everything that's highlighted,
Yeah,
or just the things that are crossed out?
the stuff crossed off goes, and then he added some additional
Okay.
sentences in there.
Okay, what page are we on?
We're on page 8.
page
8
8.
of 9.
Yeah.
8 of 9.
All right.
So all
So-
that's gonna go. So there's only gonna be one little sentence
Yep,
under the,
under the first paragraph, right?
yeah,
So I just,
okay.
I think I want to go back to that. What's a little confusing is blue
Yep.
in other pages reference that it was added in.
Blue is highlighted by Nick.
Okay, okay, Nick highlighted it?
Yeah.
Okay.
And then he put his comment,
All right, so,
and then council
I'll-
doubled up on it and said his piece.
all right, so page 7D, that's being removed?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, and
Just,
the
I wanna,
very top of
Yep.
8 of 9.
correct.
One of, I had a question on, let's see, on procedures, on section 6, the second paragraph, half of that's scratched out. It says the planning board shall review and act upon a site plan which such conditions may be deemed appropriate within 90 days.
It's a long time.
It's customary for site plan review.
90 days?
Yeah, sorry, that's customary for special permits. Site plan review is usually 65 days.
Yeah, you would think it would, 65, I mean, especially 90 days, that's a long time.
Yeah, that's from the date of the close of the public hearing. to
Yeah.
Render a decision.
So in the meanwhile, you go in, and you know how it works, you bring the stuff in, you paid now you've spent 2-3 months with your engineer designing this, you get in there, oh, they give you 10 minutes on their thing, well, you know, we have to postpone this to the next meeting, so there's another 2 weeks, then there's
Actually-
another month, then it's 90
I
days,
think it should be, I mean,
We're going to back up,
Actually-
because in the summertime,
The way this reads,
yeah.
review and act upon the, within 90 days of the public hearing date.
of the decision.
No,
Of the public hearing date. So the first public hearing date, they have 90 days to
Starts the
render a
clock.
decision.
All right,
starts the clock, so they don't get, because that's what the way I read it,
Condition.
because it said within
Right.
90 days,
Got it.
they've got to make a decision.
Right.
And I
And
think
that's reasonable.
Then that's reasonable for reviews and inputs.
if I can, in the summer, we only meet once a month,
yeah.
Yeah,
just so you know. So it isn't like we're here 5 days a week, 365. So that's why there's that window of time allowing
Yeah.
for that.
So what is site plan review? What's the time frame on that?
it starts the clock.
So site plan review doesn't have a timeline. It just has a day in which, from the close of the public hearing, when they need to render a decision.
Decision on it.
65 days.
Should we stay consistent with that?
That's a zoning bylaw. So I can't really pull from that. I have to, the only thing I pulled there was the public
This is-
hearing.
Makes
requirement.
sense.
This is better.
Yeah,
This is
because
better.
this is from the time that you start the public hearing.
This is from the time you start.
Correct. This is a lot better, because you think about it, if this was 65 days after you close,
Yeah,
Oh, that's for the close of the
Yeah,
public
that's-
I
hearing.
mean, you
This
could,
is
you could,
not closed.
Right.
So in other words, if something was to happen and they needed to drag on, they could ask them for an extension
yeah.
on it.
right.
From once it starts, you got that 90-day window, which gives you the 3 months,
Correct.
which is plenty of time.
Yeah, I'd say 3 meetings.
Yeah.
You mean?
You get the one, you present everything, the
Right.
second one,
Yep.
work things out, and the third one you finalize, yeah,
Right.
which is
And
understandable.
that could be,
3
within the
meetings.
summer, with
Yeah.
3 meetings, June, July, and August.
Correct.
That's that 1 meeting a month.
Okay.
In the summer.
Well, I guess I was looking at that a little bit.
Any other
but
changes?
Thank you for the clarity.
So we get rid of the stuff that's crossed off.
Yeah. See up top.
All right.
All right,
And then we get, those are all of their last comments,
all right,
from both Nick and council.
cool. It's actually pretty clean. All right. And you send copies to what, the planning board, conservation?
No, we needed to finalize this first.
Oh, okay.
This will go out tonight.
All right. So I was under the impression of just of the ones that we've asked committee members to attend, which is why I said planning, capital, because, capital weighs in on everything. And then conservation. Did we, I don't even know if it came before zoning for a member? Usually doesn't, because it's
I don't think
planning or
so.
conservation.
Right.
And then it's going to go back to the selectmen. So I think
Yep.
it's just those 3 groups I would send it to.
Buildings, Facilities, Construction Committee also.
Why them?
They kind of were overseeing this a little bit before it even came to us.
It's
Well, I'm
outside their
there now.
scope.
I can help them out.
All right, all right, all right. I just get worried about things being outside board scopes,
Yeah, I think it's just an FYI, really. for
Yeah.
them.
You know who it needs to go to, actually, is water sewer,
True.
because they deal with the drains and waters,
And Tom can help us out with that.
So, no, just
And
because,
getting it out, it's gonna be, it's on the court.
no, true. No, agree. No, agree, I just
So
don't
the
want to,
idea of having more people at least discussing it, letting them know it's coming out and how
True.
it's been revised, I think you're better off than you are.
no,
Going the other way.
agree. Let's
I mean,
go.
it's covered everybody,
Yep.
if that's the case.
So water, sewer, FinCom, Planning Board, Concom, BFCC, and Board of Selectmen.
Yep. Yep. Do you want to wait to bring it to the Board of Selectmen until all the reviews are done with the other boards?
I'd say once I edit this tomorrow morning, it's ready to go out to whoever.
Okay.
Did you send that to Nick? Because I think he may have, if Nick read that language, with just saying the minimum, there might be stuff in there that still exceeds the requirement, so.
Yeah, maybe you should look at that,
Yeah.
just in case.
Just in case anything doesn't.
So are we going to put that in? Are we going to
Yeah.
put that in?
Yes, yeah.
Not,
Yep.
and not to exceed? Okay.
Cool.
That could be a quick phone call,
Yeah.
Yeah, just have it.
just have them,
And then if you could,
it got brought up.
And then when you have the edited version, you send us all a copy as
Oh,
well?
of course.
Thank you.
Yep.
and is there any way we could get I guess I would be looking for a paper trail from Nick on that, something with an email or a letter
Sure.
saying that the bylaw does not exceed the minimum requirements.
Yeah, he did give me something about that already.
Yep.
I would even wait till after he reviews it again, then just have him, that way the other
Fresh
dates.
copy with the
Fresh copy,
matches up.
right,
Yep.
dates and match up. And saying based on whatever the date of this particular meeting is with that referencing, which is the 27th, right? So,
And
yeah.
while you're pulling that up, Matt, do you need any of us to attend any of the meetings when this goes before them, for them, their input review?
It's completely up to you guys.
All right, just send me an email, send me the dates, whatever, when they're gonna go live, and if I can attend,
Okay,
if we don't have someone else in the room to help explain it.
okay.
But I think,
I'll do planning board, I'm not planning, I'll do finance committee.
you will.
Go before them, sure, I'm going to be there anyway.
I don't know, I want to make sure you're gonna make the meeting, you know? We're not gonna play hooky.
I was down in Florida with lousy internet.
It wasn't warm in Florida either.
No, it wasn't. It was warmer than here.
Did you bring your shovel?
I'll tell you, as soon as I left Florida, just got up in the air a little bit, out of the airport in Fort Myers, and you looked out, everything was white. We were still in Florida, I could see it on the thing. And a whole
crazy.
eastern seaboard, white all the way.
Wow.
And you know what? And then not one of those solar things that's not white, full of snow. I don't know what's making electricity. So all those solar farms were covered.
All right. So we're good on the bylaw? With all the changes?
I think I can.
I'm at.
That's it.
All right, Adam's
Been a good
good?
job by everybody.
Mike- Mike's good?
Anything else
I think it's
we
worked out well.
Yep.
if we missed anything, or if anything gets, we can address it at the planning board.
Yeah,
I mean, it's been hammered up for quite a while
yeah,
at these meetings.
yeah,
Since September.
yeah, okay. And then, I think on the regs, we know what we're gonna hand off to the planning board. They're gonna have to take it the final mile,
Oh, yeah.
you know what I mean? But they at least got something started to
Yep.
go by.
Yep.
Cool. All right. Any other items, open items discussed within 48 hours? Seeing none?
The only thing was the adjournment portion
Yep.
of the dissolve. I think maybe that should be discussed before we get into
Yeah.
that motion.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think we want to meet on the procedures, right?
I think what we're going to try to do is meet with the select board during their public hearing,
Yep.
Yeah.
or prior to their public hearing.
Yeah.
Whatever we want to do, so we can at least brief them as
Yeah.
part of this committee, and at that time, once they've taken our feedback,
Right.
dissolve at that time.
Yeah,
And get the thanks from the select board for your
Yeah.
artwork and everything at that time.
yeah, I agree.
It might be a good time to do
That
it.
makes sense.
That's the ideal time to dissolve, I mean.
But you're going to dissolve before we do we're not going to get involved with the procedures?
We've updated the procedures, we've taken, 2 passes at it, and then the planning board has to finish the rest of the procedures off, because they own the regs.
Our charge is only the bylaw.
Is the bylaw.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So you could certainly go to the planning board meeting and
correct,
go through it.
Correct.
yeah,
Because, they're not going to spend the time that we have spent to do stuff. And you can't blame them. I mean, they got to meet all their meetings, and they got to do all their stuff. That's why I
We
think,
hammer them out pretty good.
they're gonna be pretty thorough about it, though.
I mean, we'll take them, if it takes 2-3 months or whatever it
Yeah.
takes.
but in the meanwhile, there are people that are coming before you that are having to wait because you can't do what you need to do for them.
There's nothing that pressing going on.
Quiet time.
And that-
We don't even have a public hearing next agenda.
Yeah, so I mean, this isn't something people pounding the doors and knocking them over just again and.
There's not much going on with
Yeah.
the planning board.
No, well, no, not in this area. It's only affects a little area.
What the area?
The map.
The map area.
Okay.
So
Yeah.
unless something's going on in that area,
No, I guess what I'm saying is now you're going to have to be working on the procedures, all right? In the meanwhile, you got Joe, whatever, he's coming in, he wants you, got a subdivision plan.
All right.
So and so, I mean, how much
ain't no big
time?
deal.
Yeah, but you have to adopt the bylaw and almost have the procedures ready after you adopt.
Yeah, so they'll go over their regulations, they'll produce a draft
Yep.
at some point, and then they have to hold a public hearing,
Yeah.
and then they can really iron it out during the
Yeah.
public hearing process,
Yeah.
or try to get most of the draft done and approved by council before their public hearing.
Yeah.
However you do it, it's going to be on your agenda
Correct.
every meeting until.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's the way we do it.
And-
I mean.
Thing is, we could do this for them. We could have this done for them. Then they could look at it, if they didn't like it, they could tweak it. But we could put in the time, with a few meetings, and we could do it for them.
Unfortunately,
Where is the problem with that? What's the problem with us doing it
it's
for
just
them?
not in our charge. Our charge was just the.
Well, then maybe we need the selectmen to charge us some more. What's the big deal? You're a
The big deal
selectman.
is right now, it's
Yeah.
3
Well, we
different
did-
meetings.
So,
I got
Involvement on the-
yeah, no, but Carol, we did go through the regs, and we did start to slim them down and pair them up.
Yeah.
Because we had the definitions match up.
Yeah,
So we did take a pass at it. We didn't go, I think, all the way through the end. I think we did like 1.5 reviews on it.
Yeah, we did pretty good.
But it's,
do we have those?
yeah, he's got a copy of them.
Yeah.
Matt does.
On to us.
Yeah,
Huh?
I'd like to see them. I don't
Yeah.
know if I got them in here.
And Matt will make sure you get a copy.
Oh, one other thing was that we did discuss on the map, talking about the map again, was, is there any appeals process for that map? So if somebody is not in that map, or it's shown in that map, and say they're not discharging any water into whatever the site they're on, the contours are a little different from what the map is showing. Can they demonstrate that to the planning board and say, none of my water is entering any municipal storm drain,
I don't see why they couldn't. That'd be like,
and then be
that'd
exempt?
be
I
like a
think-
zoning determination from the building commissioner.
I think,
Right?
yeah.
Except this would be the planning board, it's not a staff person.
So would that be in the regulation or be in the bylaw?
I think it was in the bylaws. I think we covered that in one of the exemptions.
Any exemptions?
I know we talked about it. Because that was my concern, is if there was a conflict between the map
Yeah,
and
you wanna make
the property owner.
Only because it's expensive. If somebody has to go through this process,
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
you know, you're looking at $10,000
Oh, with easy.
to get going on it.
And how long are you going to wait for somebody to, especially if it's one person? You know, the engineers are so busy.
Repair,
They're not wasting their time with the one and dones.
Yeah.
construction.
I know there was a section in here that talked about the planning board could waive the requirements, but I don't know about if that would fall under the map.
No maintenance improvements,
Where is that?
any work, for the project.
Strict compliance on page 9 of 9, waivers.
What's underneath waivers versus
Yeah.
exemptions?
Yeah.
Right.
Okay.
Right above that. Planning board's ability to reduce waive fines, it's obviously there.
Yep.
Or its reviewing agent may waive strict compliance with any requirements of this bylaw.
Correct.
So
That's where we put it in.
Yeah.
Yeah, because you can produce that you're not discharging it or anything like that to the agent, that's what it was, to the agent versus the board.
It's one or the other.
Yeah.
If we don't have an agent, then
Then it's the board,
All right, so that's covered then.
yeah. Because I remember, because that was one of my open concerns, was I was like, if the map is not accurate,
Yeah.
which happens, you know?
Yeah. Well, there is, which I was going to bring up to Adam, let him know this, on the map that they currently, the last revision one, I had noticed it only because I was looking at my property to see how that landed in there. And it's showing that there's a drop inlet at the bottom of Northwood Drive, which there isn't.
No, there isn't.
No,
Yeah.
there's nothing there. It's showing a drop inlet.
Yeah, that's all right.
That's not.
Yeah, some of the stuff that Bill, a lot of that was taken from Bill Cundiff back in the day, and I noticed I still have stuff that we're trying to get straightened out now. Like I actually talked to Matt Wojcik not too long ago about getting our own GIS system and trying to get that all started again, because we used to have some stuff that I did when I first started with John, and we mapped a lot of it out by hand, and I have all my hand mapping, but it's never transferred over to the mapping system. That I actually got locked out and they lost all my data. So I have it all written down.
Hard copy?
Yeah, my hard copy, but it's not on a map anymore, so that was part of that. But like you said, I found stuff all over that, it says this drain goes to here and it doesn't, it actually goes the other way. So there's a lot of work that needs to be done to fix all that.
Yeah, and then, and there is, I mean, I wish, I'd be nice if there was one. I know when the North Street does get that up,
Yeah.
there is a show would be put right there, because there was a lot of runoff that does come out of the end of my driveway, but it comes out of the backyard to Pond Street, comes down, and then it dumps out from the
In the
neighbor.
plan, yeah.
Right at the very end, it dumps out on, and
Yep.
comes down the
There
road.
will be, if that gets done like they're talking about, there will be. I know there will be, because we
Yeah.
walked it with the engineers
Yeah.
and we went
I
all
told-
the way
Oh,
from
yeah, when
Pond
they do
Street all the
North,
way up.
when they do
Yeah.
North Street over?
Yeah,
Yeah.
if they do that project, because we walked it from Pond Street down to Gilboa
Yeah.
Street. And we
Yeah.
just said here, it's that whole hill, that whole side. where
Oh,
you-
yeah.
It is.
It's
Yeah.
all the way.
That's why I put that retention pond in, and I wasn't even required to do at the time, and I put that in.
You knew, yeah.
Specifically for, because I knew
Yep.
the high water table in that lower section.
Correct.
right there.
Yeah.
All right. What else? The minutes for the 13th?
Don't have any,
Okay,
it's not ready yet.
all right.
So we'll go through all them when we adjourn. If we,
Yeah, if they bring to the meeting, we'll just
we'll have to do all that.
do them from there.
Done.
You know what I
All right.
mean?
Meeting, yeah.
Yep. All right, no minutes.
So we're gonna do that for the charter, have it where,
Yeah, I think it makes sense to have, meet with the selectmen and then dissolve
Yep.
from there. We can approve our minutes
do
at
we
that
need
meeting.
do we need a formal vote on all that, or what do we need to do?
I think we just need to adjourn, because we're not going to adjourn with dissolve.
So what exactly are we doing next?
We would entertain a motion to adjourn
Yeah.
this meeting. Then the next time we would come together as a meeting would probably be in, let's say, February
Okay,
timeframe.
Yeah.
With the selectmen,
okay,
after the reviews have been done, after all the minutes have been typed up from this committee.
got it, yeah.
We would have a joint meeting with the selectmen,
Yeah.
present the article, have a discussion with them.
Yeah,
Approve our 2-minute minutes from the last few meetings.
right, okay.
And then make a motion to dissolve.
Okay, so we'll get a notice on when that meeting is.
But,
Select-
correct.
Yeah, okay.
But in the meantime, that means that the other boards have weighed in on
Yeah.
any comments, have provided those back, and then if there's any critical changes and stuff like that, then,
We could still be contacted or could be reviewed by council.
With council.
Selectmen's meeting.
yeah,
Oh, of course.
yeah,
That
but
way
that,
there, when it goes in, it'd be a
yeah,
deal.
but that can be shared with the group in email, but we can't weigh in on it,
Right.
so.
I don't know if the planning board's going to consider that they had enough time this Wednesday.
Oh, no, agree.
They might review
Agree.
it at their first
Agree.
meeting in February, so.
Well, Mike can be there and discuss it, in depth.
It's fairly straightforward.
Yeah,
Straightforward,
Yeah,
basically.
absolutely.
It's not a 20, 30-page article. you know.
correct. Yep. So that's it.
Okay,
Good deal.
so everybody's good?
Yep.
Motion to adjourn
I
then.
want to say I appreciate all the work you guys put into this. You guys did a really great job.
You too.
It's been
Yeah,
real
you
helpful.
Getting us all the documents and having
Yep.
everybody on Zoom and stuff.
That's
It's worked out well.
I like these 5 o'clock meetings. Because you don't,
If you can make them
For me, it's
sometimes.
close.
well, yeah,
If you can make them
you know,
time.
you don't go home and then come back.
Yeah.
I go home, I look out the window, oh, it's cold out there.
Hey, Sarah.
No, we had a good, it's a good board.
Yeah.
This worked out well.
Okay, so we got.
All right.
Good crew.
We have to, was it?
Kinda weird.
Was it motion
So-
made and seconded?
Huh?
All right, there we
Was there a
go.
motion made and seconded?
Yep.
I made it.
All right, motion made by Mike,
Second.
seconded by Colin. All in favor?
I
Aye.